Again, it felt like I was doing so much to do so little. Also, like, what are his bird cards? Oh, Falcon's Flock, Red Wing. Is that it? Yeah, we have 2 bird cards. The discard your card and look for your bird card. So obviously it wants you to do either Falcon's Flock or Red Wing, which means it wants you to spam Red Wing over and over and over, which is the slowest way to play this game in the entire world. And again, it wants you to defend because your microwave will help with the defense stuff, but there's no easy way to ready them up except for the Talon thing. But you can only use the Talon thing after you use your Eagle Eye ability, which don't even get me started on that ability and how that works backwards of how I think it actually should. I don't know. I'll still have to play more with him, but I just do not like him. He is just not enjoyable. Is Wingman ever a good card? I keep looking at it, but I don't see the worth except maybe for Spectrum Ally. Attached to an aerial ally, when another aerial ally would take any amount of consequential damage, exhaust to prevent one? I don't think so. I just walked away to play Expert Voltron and came back to this cluster. I know, right? If he dies, he dies. Falcon's Flock is a resource generator that doesn't exhaust, so it's a good one to grab. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Like well, the thing is, you need Falcon's Flock out there all the time because the 5 hand size with all your events costing 2, basically. Like, you can't play both the cards without using doubles or aerial cards. I guess team building is what really should have been in this deck that I think Sean pointed out in the beginning. So you need Falcon's Flock to constantly recycle it. Falcon and Pool would be perfect now. Is Tony still surprising you, D20? Every day, man. Every day. I feel like that's kind of the consensus with Falcon. Some aspects of him are cool, but not something doesn't click. Yeah, like it just the whole thing feels off. Again, I know Tony wants you to like build out, and like that's his MO, right? He wants you to build out. But I feel like even if I built all the way out, because so many things trigger off of different things as well. Like there's so many weird interactions in this deck. I want him to work so bad. Dude, I would too. Hold on. Okay, so we have up and away we never used, and it would have been nice to use. But after an attacking enemy is given a face down boost card, look at that card. You may swap it with... Wait. After an attacking enemy is given a face down boost card, look at that card and the top card of the encounter deck. So you can decide which is better. Okay, that's fine. It's a fine card, whatever. We never really used it, but sure. Bird's Eye View, fine. Should be a bird card. Bird of Prey, same as I think. It's a very generic Tony card. It's kind of what we're used to at this point, so whatever. A Draw Their Fire would be really good. And multiplayer, I'm sure it's great, but you can't get it back, which is the annoying thing. Like, I feel like I want to get this card in my hand over and over and over. And there's no way to really get it unless you run a prep card, which is the one that has Black Widow on it to rerun the prep card. So then, like, you're forced to run that prep card every single time just to get this card back. Because this card, without running this card over and over and over, the whole, like, battlefield awareness and the armor and whatnot and Talon line feels, like, weird, right? It just feels weird to not be able to use. So you can only do Draw Their Fire every now and again, which feels terrible. Aerial evacuation. When another friendly character be dealt any amount of damage, discard this card to prevent all that damage and change to alter ego form. If that character is hero, they change it. Like, okay, I guess for multiplayer it makes sense. For solo, not much. Falcon's Flock, I feel like you need all the time because, again, everything is 2 cost. And you have 5 cards, so you can't play 2 of them. So you need Falcon's Flock for everything. Red Wing is literally the best card in his entire deck, which is dealing 1 to 2 damage a turn, which is insane. The Recon card, I guess, could be good to set up for later on. You could switch a bad card that would mess you up. I don't know. I don't love it. And then the Talon line, I hate that I have to discard it after resolving the Eagle Eye ability. Then I can trigger it by throwing this away, and each boost card that triggered off of that card or got discarded, however that works, then I can ready or stun a character, which, like, again, if you're running a huge ally swarm, that's not so bad, but that's just so much. Like, and then the whole Eagle Eye response doesn't make sense to me. It should be an interrupt. I don't get why this is a response. After you play an aerial card, discard the top card of the encounter deck. So again, if we're playing Birds of Prey Actually, it's a perfect example. And we have a 0 cost thing. So we have Birds of Prey, 0 cost thing. That means I have to go out of my way to figure out how I can waste this card with either my battlefield awareness or something else, or hopefully play an aerial card and have enough money left over to pay for this aerial card. So you have to pay for an aerial card to basically throw this away so that you can trigger your eagle eye thing to get a new one. Oh, look, it's another 0 card. Then I guess we're kind of SOL on that one. That's what drives me nuts. So then now, okay, we play Birds of Prey. So now it's a 4. And because again, Eagle Eye triggers after you play the card. So it's like, okay, so it's 4 plus nothing. And then it flips over. Oh, it's another nothing, ironically. But if it was a 2 then it's like, okay, now I feel even more wasted. I have to go through all those steps to finally get to a decent card. I still think it should be a response, or not a response, an interrupt. Because it should be, okay, I'm going to be playing this cards. But first I can interrupt it to be like, do I want this card or do I want to gamble for the next one, which is the 2, which, hey, okay, it worked in my favor. Or if it was another 0, then it's like, oh, okay. But there's no gambling with that. Like, there's no like fun interaction. I can't. This is just such a weird design hero. And again, I know people in chat, if you love Falcon, that's fine. You can all love Falcon. You can think he's great and whatever. I just don't see myself playing him because he's so clunky in the way that he plays. Like, it's so incredibly clunky. Okay. Sorry, chat. Sorry for the rant. What does aerial evac even do in single player? I mean, it could prepare you that, like, theoretically for this, what it could do is if, like, I knew that, like, an advance would lose, for me, right? I could save a card that's, like, not as bad so that when advance does come out, then I can swap it for that. You know what I mean? So, like, I could see the value in it, but while you're playing, it just feels like you never get the full value of it at all. I hate Falcon's events. They do low thwart and attack, but hitting the 2 boosts barely makes it better. Hitting the 2 boosts makes it like feel like a normal card. Again, I know they want 3 for 8 not to be the standard. They want 2 for 4 to be the standard, but it's not. So if I'm not hitting 2 for 6 at least, like, it feels like such a waste. And again, because you have 5 cards and you have 2 events, you need to have the event, the resource generator for the aerial cards. You have to be like super careful about that, which I guess people could like. But at the same time, I'm not playing most of my cards because I get the resources at the wrong times or whatever. Aerial evacuation helps because it's for a character, so you can use it on an ally. I absolutely agree with the response. He almost needs to have 4 boost icons to help Falcon. Yeah, some. Just Tyler's ran a Falcon review on it, right? D20 demo hitting nothing is a very good of what happened. Yeah. That happened nonstop. Or I had to, like, not do the thing I wanted to do. So I'm doing this. I guess that's my biggest issue. Is that the thing I want to do is play an event to take off 4 threat and maybe 2 more threat, right? But the card isn't right? The card is a 0 boost on here. So it's like, okay, I need to think about all these ways that I can get rid of this card and be suboptimal so that hopefully the next card that flips over is a 2 so I can play the thing I actually wanted to play. So I'm like sitting here trying to nonstop think about all the different ways to try to remove this card by like throwing out Red Wing so that after I play an aerial card, I can get rid of this card to trigger this. And does it trigger anything else? I don't know. Everything's triggering off of everything. And hopefully this works with aerial, right? Like that's why the bird Red Wing is the most important card in his deck, because you just want to keep cycling through this. And guess what? You cycle through this even faster. We now are dealing with acceleration tokens on top of it. Maybe Red Wing Voltron is the way? No, I don't think Red Wing Voltron is, because I don't think you want Red Wing to actually be strong, because you want to continuously put him back in your hand. So you can't even Voltron Red Wing to make him good, because the whole good part of him is to get him back into your hand. Here for the hand. Is there a card that allows you to look at the encounter deck and rearrange the cards? There might be a prep card that does. And that's what I feel like now we're just leaning into prep stuff with Falcon, but you want more aerial cards in his deck so that you can trigger Eagle Eye. This might be the first D20 hero take that I'm 100% on board with. I appreciate that. Fired up D20 is why I'm here. How to wonder if Aerial Recon had to be an early play just to manipulate the encounter? I have to wonder. I came for the ramp, baby. As soon as I saw Falcon, I was like, let's go. Hey, Sam, hopefully you're doing well. Once you burned a good boost, rest of your cards are useless. Yeah. Like, and then you have to, that's another good point too, is now I'm prioritizing. Okay, I have a 2 here. Maybe there's a 3 under here, right? Maybe there's a 3 and it works out good. But it's like, okay, do we want to remove 5 threat or do we want to deal 6 damage? And anyway, it doesn't matter. You can't play both cards because if you don't have the resource generator, it's completely useless. So then again, we get back to the thing that you need team building out there then. So you need the prep card that allows you to get, what is that card? That's going to drive me nuts for a second. Hold on. I can't remember who it came with. I feel like it came with Nick Fury. Yeah, practice plan. So I feel like practice plan, after you discard a prep card you control. Yeah, this is okay. So you need to have practice plan in your deck, as far as I'm concerned. Return that card to your hand from your discard pile. So this is draw their fire, right? So if you're running draw their fire, I feel like you need practice plan out on that table 24/7. So now I feel like I'm running a prep deck instead of an aerial deck, which is obviously what I should be doing with this hero, right? Because draw their fire, like every time I'm exhausting, I'm not able to do my big attacks and stuff. And I'm just like pinging 1 damage back with microwave if I get hit for a damage, because then I'm just running a Red Wing deck over and over and over and over and over and over. Shield card that does global logistics. Okay. You have a bird with a gun. That'd be hilarious. This is why you need Doctor Strange standee to, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's so weird too, because like, again, I like Domino for the luck aspect and whatever, and it feels good because like it feels like the timing feels right. It just feels like Falcon should have the same exact timing as Domino, but it feels off the entire time I do it here. He's a jack of all trades, master of none. That's bad at being a jack of all trades. Amen. Again, haven't played him, but I honestly think the infinite wind power is probably the way to play Falcon. Yeah, maybe. I just don't want to play a what was it? Basically a strength and diversity deck. Go Justice and use global logistics and blindfold to go nuts manipulating the counter deck. I feel like this is what I'm gonna have to do, Lauren. I feel like that's like I thought Falcon would have a lot of ways to play him, and I feel like it's not. I feel like it's gonna be prep cards, and I agree. Justice might be the way to go to manipulate the encounter deck the way I need it to go. But man, that just seems like such a pain. Bird is the word deck. That's my buddy ran last weekend. Seemed fine. Basically, the whole game plan is play Red Wing as often as possible. Yeah. And like that does seem like what you're gonna do with him, but then that negates like half my upgrades and stuff. Like it doesn't even matter what half my upgrades do if I'm just gonna deal 1 or 2 damage at a time. Which like, God, that's slow and boring. I'm not sitting here to return a bird to me to deal 1 damage or 2 damage over and over and over.